So a very good afternoon, principals, directors, chairmen, faculty members from across the country, and also the students who are linked to us through Facebook and YouTube. It's a fantastic day. It is a day when we are all inspired by Swami Vivekananda in this country. We are very proud to be part of this National Youth Day. Across the country, we participate as youth. We have participated as youth, and we will be participating as youth in various activities, various programs. If you are looking at making this country a great Vishwaguru, a guru who would be Shaswata Vishwaguru, not Vishwaguru on a particular area, on a particular day, on a particular event or particular issue, but a country which can show path to several of the nations across the world, then we are looking at building ourselves with very strong roots. So it is in that context that we are all meeting friends. It's an opportunity to meet you all. Today we will have the opportunity also of listening to AICT chairman and AICT chief coordinating officer, and also a very accomplished civil servant, Dr. C. Uma Maheshwaraji. So these people would be also addressing us. So before they come in, I'm basically into setting the stage where all of your institutions which are part of this program have done exceedingly well in your own area. Your institutions have accomplished in a very big way the contribution which each of you is doing to the knowledge, to the practice of knowledge, and to creation of wisdom in the country has been enormous. And I would congratulate each one of you for having led that great team of young people for over the years. From the time you are part of the institution, from the time you are steering the institution, from the time you have taken on the reins of handling thousands of young people and showing them a way. So thank you very much for being that. This country looks forward to your guidance, your involvement, your support, and your continuous involvement in generating people like you in your area, across the country, and across the world. So, friends, lakhs of students go through you. We have more than 48,000 higher education institutions across the country as on date. We from Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education are connected to one-fourth of the higher education institutions in the country through a small mechanism of SL. We are working on three streams. One is rural entrepreneurship development, because country being mostly rural with 60% and above population involved in rural related occupations and professions and allied activities which relating to agriculture. And so it is in this context that we have an area which is rural entrepreneurship development, where the business management institutions across the country offering BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, and Master of Business Administration are roped in. And across the country, in each of these institutions, just as we have a placement cell, we are also looking at an entrepreneurship development cell. This entrepreneurship development cell is to first introduce young people the opportunities relating to entrepreneurship. It is going to be an institutional mechanism which all of you have taken on. It's fantastic that your institution has taken on this institutional mechanism, which would mean that young people will get continuously support from all of us, from the faculty members. Principals are the leaders. The total education system looks at your leadership, the registrars, the vice chancellors, directors, and the heads of institutions. You make a huge contribution to this country. So in the same fashion, you are also going to contribute to the entrepreneurship developments in the country. हम दूसरों को नौकरी देंगे और इतना हम मजबूत बनेंगे कि we make several opportunities possible for several people. All of us are aware of self-help groups. So this is a self-help group of young students who are part of educational institutions. These young students who are part of educational institutions are also going to start thrift, just as women have contributed by 1 rupee thrift or 2 rupees thrift every day and have developed the capital. And across the country, we have lakhs of women groups who are involved in economic activities. We are looking at lakhs of student groups across the country who are involved in economic activity. एक्टिविटी छोटा हो या बड़ा हो, कोई शॉर्ट टर्म हो या लॉन्ग टर्म हो, बड़ा कैपिटल हो या छोटा कैपिटल हो, विस्तार देश भर का काम हो या it is a small activity linked to your own institution or one class of students, but that activity is being promoted through you. You are fantastic people, you are the leaders in this. If the principal, as and when the principal takes the role of being a leader in entrepreneurship development cell, the entrepreneurship will become the culture of the educational institution. That is what we are looking at, friends. Another area which we are also looking at is vocational education, Nayi Talim, and experiential learning. Gandhi ji had this great dream. We have just completed 150th birth anniversary of Gandhi ji. Gandhi ji's great dream was to make this country self-reliant. अभी हम लोग जो बात कर रहे हैं आत्मनिर्भरता का, that was the dream. ये कैसा हासिल करना है? What is the way out for this? Use the hands, head and heart together in unison. यही बात स्वामी विवेकानंद ने भी बोला है कि हाथ और मस्तिष्क और दिल तीनों भी साथ में चले, so that we have एकाग्रता from the brain, from the head, and the kushalata from the hands, and the love and affection for whatever we are doing from the heart. So with nishtha, with continuous conviction, when we are working, we can make huge difference. ये बात गांधी जी ने कहा है, उसको उन्होंने, गांधी जी ने उनको वो काम को का नाम दिया है नई तालीम. So Nayi Talim is a method by which head, hand and heart work in unison, where the students learn different subjects through activities and programs and works, so that वो काम में जो साइंस है वो साइंस सीखेंगे, वो काम में whatever mathematics is there in that work, they learn the mathematics, they will learn the social studies, कहाँ से वो उत्पादन हुआ है, कहाँ से वो सामान आया है, कहाँ पर जाएगा, economic geography and the physical geography, the young child will learn when he is handling material. Hands are put into action, and with lot of involvement of the head and heart, the students learning happens. The integration of various disciplines happens. खेती बाड़ी में काम करे या कोई कामकाज में है लगे रहे, या वेजिटेबल्स ग्रोइंग में रहे, या वेजिटेबल्स कंजम्पशन में भी लगे, कितना हम वेजिटेबल लेके आए, हाउ मच वेजिटेबल कंजम्पशन इज देयर on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, how is the budget changing? These are the ways by which the child gets into practice of mathematics. हमारा mathematics ऐसा बताता कि if a child can run 100 meters in 10 seconds, if you go by mathematics, so 1000 meters, how many seconds will the child be able to run? If that is what we are applying, then 10 into 10 is 100 seconds the child should be able to run 1000 meters. लेकिन रियलिटी में ऐसा नहीं होता है. 1000 meters रनिंग का एक स्पीड होता है, 100 meters रनिंग का एक स्पीड होता है, 200 meters रनिंग का एक स्पीड होता है. The momentum is different. So to understand the difference between the math and the reality, the student is continuously involved in practice of maths than learning of maths. ये पूरा चीज हम इसको पूरा डिस्क्राइब करना है. That is the language that the student needs and uses for taking the ideas forward. So this is a route for vocational education, Nayi Talim, experiential learning. Anubhavjanya Siksha se, with experience when one learns, then that learning stands forever. इसलिए हम B.Ed colleges में, D.Ed colleges में, शिक्षा संस्थानों में we are trying to promote the vocational education cells. I am very happy to share with you that across the country, we have more than 4,500 vocational education cells in the vocational in the teacher educational institutions. हर जगह पर काम चल रहा है. And fortunately for us, the National Education Policy 2020 is also focusing on vocational education. So it is exactly in unison with the national policy and the national requirement that we are working. The third area that we are looking at is social entrepreneurship. जो entrepreneurship उद्यमिता का जो बारे में हम सोचते हैं, entrepreneurship is not restricted to commercial enterprise. Entrepreneurship is not restricted to business management institutions or business management education. Entrepreneurship could be done by any student of any stream of education. कोई भी काम करना है उसके जिंदगी में, तो कुछ कमाना है, कुछ करना है, उसके लिए ध्यान लगाकर काम continuously काम करना है. So for that to happen, we require the support of people working in every sector. Any employee today who is successful not because of the rules and regulations, not because of the duties and responsibilities, not because of the rights and the job description, but because the employee takes ownership, employee takes pride in doing something, employee takes risks, employee goes beyond the calling, employee works beyond the hours, and employee works on achieving something. He has his or her own benchmarks. That benchmark determines where he is going. So it is in this context that we are looking at entrepreneurship in the social domain also. Even rainwater harvesting is an entrepreneurship area. Even handling of vegetables is an entrepreneurship domain. Even working on solar panels is entrepreneurship domain. So if we are looking at an educational institutions, हम educational institution में आज के दिन में 5 टीम्स बनाने की बात करते हैं. झाड़ पेड़ पौधे को देखभाल करना, plantation, tree maintenance, tree upkeep is one area, so that you are deciding which species in which area and how to handle them. Another area is water conservation, how to handle the water, rooftop water, available water, create a water budget for the campus, create a water sensitive people and water efficient community in the campus and among the students. Each of these activity has a work element and hence has an entrepreneurship element. That is one area which we can contribute to and work in. Just as my colleagues have already informed or have already been discussing, all of you have been working on this. We have been working on composting or waste management, including paper waste management, including e-waste management. हमारे पास जहां कहां भी हमारे पास आज के दिन में इलेक्ट्रिकल एंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मटेरियल है, में कंप्यूटर्स है, हर जगह पर we have today e-waste generated. 4 साल 3 साल के बाद में हर जगह पर after the usage of material there is a scrap being produced. That scrap, 50%, 60% of that scrap is reusable. If we don't put into reuse, it becomes junk and it becomes a hazard for the communities. So e-waste management that is an entrepreneurship opportunity. Composting is an entrepreneurship activity. Handling of the plastic waste is an entrepreneurship activity. Laboratory waste, glass waste, each of them is a stream of earning. So that being promoted through the social entrepreneurship cell, we have more than 4,600 social entrepreneurship cells being constituted across the country. हम लोग स्वच्छ भारत अभियान में, स्वच्छता एक्शन प्लान में, हर कॉलेज में, हर इंस्टीट्यूशन में स्वच्छता में हमको क्या करना है, उसको क्या सिद्ध करना है, उसका एक मेथोडोलॉजी और एक इंडिकेटर लिस्ट बनाए, जिसको आज के दिन में AICTE, UGC इस्तेमाल करके दे यूटिलाइज दिस मेथोडोलॉजी, दिस इंडिकेटर्स लिस्ट फॉर evaluating the institutions. Now each of the institution across the country is being evaluated or being graded on Swachhata. Even in the other rankings, whether it is the national rankings in terms of the faculty or in terms of the institutions, we have this opportunity of ranking and working on the ranks which are relating to our green component, green works. तो ग्रीन में आज के दिन में हम वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट भी लेके आते हैं और ग्रीनरी भी लेके आते हैं, प्लांटेशन के साथ में वाटर मैनेजमेंट भी लेके आते हैं. लास्ट एस्पेक्ट विच इज वेरी वेरी क्रिटिकल इज गेटिंग इनटू ग्रीन एनर्जी विच इज लिंक्ड टू द सोलर एरिया. सोलर एरिया में हमको बहुत काम करना है. ऑलरेडी लॉट ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशंस, मेनी ऑफ यू have installed solar panels and many of you are working on solar panels. Solar panel is an enterprise by itself. Laying solar panels is an enterprise by itself. Maintenance of the solar panels is an enterprise by itself. Just as construction of a compost structure is an enterprise, handling of compost is an enterprise, selling of compost is an enterprise. Each of the activity can be handled as an enterprise. Water harvesting is an enterprise. Maintenance of the water harvesting structure is an enterprise. Maintenance of the pipelines which are leading to water harvesting structures across our huge campuses is also an enterprise. And maintenance of the contour trenches across the borders of our college so that the water from the campus will not go out and will remain in the campus and will support. Annually maintaining them also is an enterprise. Looking at each of them as an enterprise is what we are trying to consider and we are trying to work on. इसलिए बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस, मोर देन 4600 इंस्टीट्यूशंस में आज के दिन में सोशल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, स्वच्छता और कम्युनिटी रूरल एंगेजमेंट, ये काम का एक सेल बनाए. तो these cells are institutional mechanisms and the principles make huge difference. As principals, when you are involved in social entrepreneurship promotion or entrepreneurship promotion, या आप रूरल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एरिया में काम करें या वोकेशनल एजुकेशन में काम करें, हम सब ये सब का काम का एक ही नतीजा है. द ओनली डायरेक्शन इन विच ऑल ऑफ अस आर गोइंग इज हम मांगेंगे नहीं, हम देने लायक बनेंगे. वी विल बिकम competent to handle. There are several of gaps in the world. In our own country, there are several gaps. In every area, gaps. Each of the gap provides an opportunity, and opportunity has an associated risk. We build a country which has risk-taking capacity. Young people who are risk-taking in their nature. Young people who are competent to handle any risk at any point of time. That is what is our goal. In this endeavor, being principals, you have a huge responsibility, which you have already been taking on and very effectively implementing. You have made a name for yourself. All those great institutions which are part of today's interaction, you have made extraordinary contribution to your area. You have been a wonderful group of people. Your area not only has been benefited, but your people, your young students from your institutions have grown across the world. Their contribution has been enormous. As a faculty member, when you were promoting your institution as a faculty member, later on now as a principal, and some of you who are started as initiator of an institution, your contribution has been phenomenal, and it has been extraordinary in terms of helping the human resource in this country. And now we are looking at each of the educational institutions which is part of this great endeavor, great effort, being committed and being committed to every student being Atmanirbhar, every student not asking for, but providing for, looking for opportunities, whether it is a technology area, whether it is a social area, whether it is in handling the communities. The students have a great role, and they're all being shaped in our educational institutions. We can make huge dent, huge impact on the world around. You have been doing it, and we are looking at an institutional infrastructure for that. Your students generating their own capital, saving their capital, forming a self-help group through the cell. This self-help group providing finance for their small little activities relating to entrepreneurship. छोटा छोटा काम करते हुए बड़े काम में हम जोड़ सकते हैं. Starting from selling the rangoli for Sankranti to selling the colors for Holi, being part of any festival, religious festival or any function, supporting with it for a small pecuniary gain, and also with a social commitment, we can make huge impact. So it is in this context that we are all meeting, friends. We'll have very soon the chairman of AICTE with us, and his take on entrepreneurship we will listen to. AICTE has also been promoting entrepreneurship for several years now. We thought we would extend it to all other non-technical institutions also. Definitely every management institution should also have an entrepreneurship development cell, just as every other discipline institution should have a social entrepreneurship development cell. And all institutions should have their commitment to greening of the campuses, greening of the communities around, and greening of the country. So it is in this context that we are all working on. Now with vocationalization being made part of education at every level, starting from the school to the higher education, our contribution will be phenomenal, because we have to get several of the people from the society, accomplished people from the society in the neighborhood and across the country, to come to the college, come to the campus. वो adjunct faculty बनेंगे, हमारे students से interact करेंगे, they will initiate several things, they will create that momentum which is required. So the society is going to get into the campus and help the campus in a way that the students' responsibility is also shared by the community. There is service learning which the students will get into during their summer internship, summertime or winter time. So we are looking at 3 shifts. One shift is internship while the student is in the course. Second shift is apprenticeship. Immediately after the course, he is part of one enterprise, one activity, one social activity, or one functional activity in the neighborhood. That is apprenticeship. Then we are looking at the final shift, which is the entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship will have 2 steps before. One is the apprenticeship immediately after the course, and the shift before the apprenticeship is the internship. So we are looking at summer internships, winter internships, helping the students in learning the life skills and also contributing to themselves and to the nation. So this is an opportunity which all of us have as the leaders of educational institutions, and I take this as a great opportunity to interact with you and to learn from you and to share some of my thoughts. Thank you very much for taking your time and for being here on this occasion, and your involvement and your presence makes huge difference. I'm very glad to share with you that Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe ji, Chairman AICTE, has joined the meeting on dot. So the program will continue on dot. Will move as per the timing we have, and the final speaker of the day will be Professor Uma Maheshwar Rao, who will be Dr. Uma Maheshwar Rao, who's been an IAS officer, who's retired from the government civil service, who's now contributing to education system across the country, involved in several of the activities. He will join from US. So friends, I will, Mr. Sudhir, please take it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We welcome Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, sir, and also Dr. Uma Maheshwar sir also joined this program. Welcome you, sir. Welcome to this program. And I also request Professor Dr. Vivek, sir, from Samskriti Foundation, Dr. Vivek, sir. Manoj, sir, please also unmute Vivek, sir, and make him co-host. So we are very glad to have Honorable Chairman of AICTE, Anil Sahasrabudhe, sir, as Chairman sir told on time. We are very glad to see you, sir. So we'll start the main proceedings of this program. As Viveka Subhashitam, which is one of the Do Good Be Good campaign, which we are going ahead. Yes, we can see Dr. Chamarthi Umeshwar sir. Thank you, sir, for joining here from MGNCRE team. Manoj sir, please make Vivek sir as co-host.
No, he has unmuted me now.
Yes, welcome Dr. Vivek sir. Thank you so much for being part of this program. And we hand over the proceedings to you to take it forward in a great way. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhirji. Namaskar to all of you. To be good and to do good, that is the whole of religion, said Swami Vivekananda. I am Dr. Vivek Modi. I welcome all of you on behalf of Samskriti Foundation and Team Mahatma Gandhi Council of Rural Education. A hearty thanks to all of you from the senior functionaries from the different parts of India. We can see a mini India here right now in our Zoom meeting. So many of you have joined us. Thank you so much. A warm welcome. My heartiest welcome to our chief guest, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe sir, Honorable Chairman of All India Council for Technical Education. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. We are really honored to have you here. I welcome our Margdarshak, Dr. C.H. Uma Maheshwar Rao sir, Chamarthi Uma Maheshwar Rao sir ji. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. And this may be an odd timing for you being in US there. Thank you so much for your presence, and it really encourages us. A hearty welcome to all other delegates. We wait for Dr. Buddha Chandrasekharji as he joined. We'll welcome him as well. Now, here I conclude my welcome address and I hand it over to Dr. Prasanna Kumarji to talk about our partnership with MGNCRE. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vivek ji, for introducing the guests of the evening. We have so many people from across the country, starting from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari. We have people from Kutch to from Andaman Nicobar also in this team. We have more than 590 principals from various educational institutions, directors, chairmen of these educational institutions. I have been inspired by these two guests who are here today. My first inspiration is, of course, Dr. C. Umameshwar Rao ji, who is on our board governing body and who is also a finance committee member for us, and who incidentally is also chairman for Samskriti Foundation. Another great inspiration is Anil Sahasrabuddhe ji, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe ji. Whenever I went to him, he is very warm, he is very nice, and he is an inspiration wherever he goes. And several of the technical educational institutions across the country have been blessed with his guidance and support. In fact, AICTE under his leadership has also asked us to develop the curriculum on rural management. So we have been part of the committee for developing the rural management curriculum at bachelor's and master's level. And this curriculum was unveiled by the Ministry of Environment at that time, Ministry of Education at that time, Ministry of Human Resource Development. I would like to share with the August gathering here the backdrop of this work. We have also been inspired by an event which is started by Samskriti Foundation 5 years back, when they have taken on Swami Vivekananda's campaign of do good and be good. So this is an opportunity to do good and be good between Swami Vivekananda's birthday and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's birthday. So Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's birthday falls on 23rd of January, and Swami Vivekananda's birthday falls on 12th of January, that is today. So it is this period between these two dates that we thought is the right time to promote NAIC activity, good activity, great activity across the country. So entrepreneurship we consider as one of the big activity, great activity, which can be done, which can push the students into thinking in terms of where is the gap in the country, how will we fill that gap in the country, whether it in the social sector or business sector or economic sector, and how that can also be an opportunity for livelihood and for a future. So considering those aspects, we have partnered. Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education has partnered with the knowledge partner, that is Samskruti Foundation. In fact, for me, for my work for the Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education's work in entrepreneurship development, AICT is the inspiration. AICT has started entrepreneurship development, and wherever Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe went, he promoted this component of students being on their own, student being a contributor. And in fact, the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, with the support of AICT, has taken many strides only because of the presence of the technical support of AICT. And this is an opportunity for our tiny institution to come together with the great institution, giant institution, which is AICT. We would like to benefit from learnings that have been accrued over a period of time by the contribution that has been made by AICT to this country in the technical education, in management education. Phenomenal contribution has been made, not only in terms of regulating, but also in terms of promotion. I have been inspired by the involvement of AICT in SAGI, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, and how they have connected. I have attended several of their programs. In fact, interacted with the young people who have been part of the AICT program. So I have no words to thank Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe ji, जिन्होंने हमारा एक ही रिक्वेस्ट पे मान लिया है. And it's very nice of you, sir, for being here in this program and for having agreed to bless the student youth from across the country. In this program, not only the principals are available directly through the Zoom, sir, we also have YouTube live telecast and also Facebook live telecast. So there are thousands of students across the country who are being benefited by your presence and by your support. Thank you very much, Vivek ji, for giving me this opportunity of sharing a couple of my thoughts. Over to Vivek ji. Vivek ji, unmute.
Vivek sir, yes.
Unmute kariye.
Yes, now
Yes,
you're on.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Prasanna Kumar sir, for giving us an idea about this partnership and showing us the importance of this period, 12th January and 23rd January, two Mahanayaks of our country. And it is a time to be inspired by them. Both did a lot of work when country was not free, but today we have the opportunity to take the baton ahead. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now I take the opportunity to invite our today's chief guest, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe sir, Chairman, All India Council of Technical Education. 1 minute time for me may not be enough to introduce sir, but all of us are blessed to have him. Let me very briefly mention about
Dr.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Vivek ji, I think you skip it so that we will have more time in discussion and talking to people.
I will finish it in 1 minute, sir. Just 1 minute. We all, because students are
Hey,
also,
you already introduced.
students are also
Prasanna Kumar
learning,
ji introduced. Prasanna Kumar ji introduced more than what is required already. So I think we'll leave it at
half
that.
a minute, sir.
Please give
Half
me
a
an
minute for the
opportunity.
sake of students, sir. It's an inspiration for us. Please, sir. Half a minute. I would be very quick. We understand, sir, and we are really thank you for your humble inputs. I'll just one half a minute, sir. So Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe is a gold medalist during his graduation. I'm primarily talking, keeping the students in mind. He's a gold medalist, #1 ranker in his mechanical engineering graduation. Then he did his post-graduation and doctoral degrees from IISc. And after that, of course, he joined as a professor of mechanical engineering, and he has also been working in so many academic research and administrative positions in various institutes of eminence. I would not name them for the sake of time, as sir suggested, and so many awards, a list of awards. I would just mention few: Maha Entrepreneur Award 2011, then from the Praj Industries, then Jeevan Gaurav Purushkar, then Mahatma Gandhi Leadership Award from Indian Achievers Forum. The list is endless. So just on that note, I welcome. We are eager to hear to you, sir. Thank you so much for your presence once again. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Vivek Modi ji. But you know, when Dr. Prasanna Kumar invites, you cannot say no. So the chairman of Mahatma Gandhi National Council for Rural Education, he called me and said that you must be there, and I'm very happy to be here. Dr. Uma Maheshwar ji, who is so important, you know, a retired IAS officer dedicating himself to the cause of nation by staying awake in the mid of the night, you know, or early morning, so whatever it is. So that is what is the passion and commitment which is visible. He is the chairman for this Sanskruti Foundation, which has been certainly doing very good work. And this particular webinar in particular is about entrepreneurship, vocational education, national education policy, how they are intertwined with each other. I think very, very important and timely one. And today happens to be the birthday of the great saint of India, Swami Vivekananda, who took the whole world by storm when he spoke in 1893 September in Chicago during the address to the entire world of religions. And today being his birthday, we celebrate it as National Youth Day. A lot of youth, that is young students, have joined, and we must take a life, leaf out of the life of Swamiji. Some of the statements I would like to start with before we get into later part of it. He was very prominently, very keen in education. It's very clear. And he used to say that education is nothing but manifestation of perfection already in man. It means all teachers who have joined should not think that we are creating the students by giving them knowledge and information. In fact, that was in 1890s itself he was saying that. Today, with the internet being available, with YouTube, with Swayam and various types of platforms, a lot of information is already available at the disposal of students. So they are least bothered about what you are going to teach in the class. And therefore, our role is going to be transforming, changing, and we must realize that. And therefore, our role is, there is already excellence which is hidden in every individual. How do we bring it out? How do we support it? How do we mentor it? How do we create a system where he will prosper as well as blossom? I think that is the role of a teacher. I think we must understand that part of the system. He also had said not only about education, but for all the youth, he had given a clarion call that arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. At that time, we were still not independent. So it is not only goal for independence, but also for becoming Atmanirbhar. Today, our Prime Minister Modi ji is saying Atmanirbhar Bharat, but Atmanirbhar Bharat step was thought over by the Swami Vivekananda long ago. Service to humanity is service to God. He said that you may have temples and gods, but service to humanity is important. And that's why when we talk about entrepreneurship today, how social entrepreneurship is also equally important. I think we must do that. Or how vocational education and vocational skills are important, because service to humanity comes from that vocational education, which we are going to impart to our students as per the new national education policy. So I think all of these are in some way or the other very well connected, and that's why it is very, very important. Lastly, and very important because it is the birthday of Swamiji, I would like to recollect that he used to go to his guru rather, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and he used to ask him a lot of probing questions. He was never satisfied. Can you show me God? Why is it like this? So that inquisitiveness, childlike inquisitiveness that was there in the Swamiji is to be also regenerated in our students, and therefore a lot of reforms which we are talking about are embedded in creating this critical thinking, creating the inquisitiveness amongst the students, whereby they will start becoming innovative. They will be able to not only become employable, which is also important, but many of them will turn into entrepreneurs. I think that is the spirit, and start creating jobs and provide jobs to others. With that in mind, I think I will start off with some of the values which are there embedded in our new national education policy, and how they are linked with entrepreneurship. Vocational education is also very significant. One very important thing which this policy talks about is changing the primary school education itself. I'm sure there are most of them are in higher education sector, but some of us who graduate from these institutions will get into even probably teaching profession at the high school level. So 10+2 is to be taken off, and 5+3+3+4 is what is being talked about, with the elementary education being all in mother tongue, so that child from home to the school will have a very, very smooth transition. There is no compulsion for him to learn a lot of reading, writing, but learn through stories, learn through games. And the recently started toy hackathon, which we launched only last week, our minister as well as the former minister of HRD and the present textile minister and child and women welfare minister, both of them launched this hackathon, which is so important for school education in terms of learning values, learning ethics, learning science, learning technology through the mode of playing games and toys. I think that is one part. And while doing so, naturally, when you handle objects, rather than only reading, writing, using a chalk or using a pencil or a pen and a paper, and you are using different types of artifacts, naturally your hand movements will also become very, very keen on learning new things, and skill development, motor development will start happening automatically without our even intervention in that manner. Similarly, learning of different languages. हम जब बात कर रहे हैं अभी अंग्रेजी में, तो कई राज्यों में अंग्रेजी नहीं समझ में आती है, और हम हिंदी में बोलेंगे तो कई राज्यों में हिंदी समझ में नहीं आती है. तो जब प्राइमरी स्कूल में कथाओं के माध्यम से, through stories and games, you start teaching, you teach not 2 languages or 3 languages, which we are talking about in the new policy, or the earlier policy re-enunciated in the form of 3 language formula. I'm sure children of the age of 3 to 10 will learn 5, 10 languages very smoothly, very easily. And this is my own experience with my own children. So I'm saying with proof. And they can learn as many languages. I think it's only the way we teach them. So if you ask them to write Telugu script, Tamil script, Sanskrit script, they will distaste it. You tell them stories in Sanskrit, they will understand. You tell them stories in Telugu, in Marathi, in Kannada, they will understand that. And gradually they will pick up subjects. I think that is what is necessary at the child. And then from the 6th standard onwards, necessarily at least one skill will start. And by the time one completes the education of 12th standard equivalent of today, and the next phase, it is going to be of 15 years because they start at the age of 3, they will be skilled in at least 2 or 3 skills. Someone will be good in carpentry, someone in welding, someone in electronics technicianship, someone in biomechanics, someone will be able to do agriculture, someone in gardening, things, some skill set or the other, because in every one of them, there is hands-on experience, work, and all of that when integrated. Such students, when they come to higher education, the natural corollary is they will be both employable and they will be having a lot of ideas which when implemented will become entrepreneurs. And therefore, in the higher education, one of the key things which AICT, when the first time AICT's entrepreneurship policy was enunciated, was in 2016, November 16th. And that day we said that every college, along with their normal course curriculum, must allow 2 to 3 electives in courses which are related with entrepreneurship. How do you develop business? How do you get funding, from angel funding to the funding from the bank or from some other sources? How do you create a product which is acceptable in the market? So that means market survey, going to the masses and understanding that. How you manufacture a product and perfect it in terms of quality checks. All of this, if it is taught as some of the courses in our curriculum, not necessarily only in engineering, but even in all other technical programs of architecture, pharmacy, etc. on one side, And even arts, commerce, science on the other side, I'm sure students will become entrepreneurial. And not all of them may start the startups, but at least they will have that kida in their mind. And even if they go to a larger industry later, Infosys, Tata Motors, or some kind of a Boruca Steel, or any one of them, they will have that seed which is sown, which is an entrepreneurial seed. They will be always innovative. They will try to create something new out of what is existing in the given circumstances. And that is how we can prosper and create a nation which is having a lot of spirit of entrepreneurship. And that is the need of the hour. Second part is ministry started a cell called MIC, that is Ministry's Innovation Cell in AICTE, because of our previous experience of conducting Smart India Hackathons. We have an experience of 4 years now, where a lot of problem statements from government departments, from state governments, from even industries, they have been given as challenge to undergrad students, and undergrad students come out with wonderful out-of-the-box ideas. And when these are translated into action, the shortlisted good quality projects are brought into the domain of actual working on to them. We have found that the solutions which are provided have been adopted by ISRO, DRDO, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Railways. So that means students have that capability, but we were not exploring. So when I go back to again my original statement of Swamiji, education is manifestation of perfection already in man. So they had that talent, but we never gave them an opportunity. Given an opportunity, they came out with solutions which, when were supported, they were able to give those solutions which are adoptable, which are useful for the society itself. So I think that is what is the basic framework. Now coming to the social entrepreneurship is also very important. Not every business need to be very heavily profit oriented. I want to serve the society, but at the same time, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to keep asking for donations from others. So there are several possible initiatives, which when I just joined this program and I was not in video mode, Prasanna ji was talking about several things which one can do for rural areas. I think AICTE with its Unnat Bharat Abhiyan program and SAGI, we have all had 14-point agenda point. How every rural area can be converted into a better place. Today we talk about smart cities. Why can't we have smart villages? And that seed is sown by starting an award by AICTE, which is Green Clean Campus Award was there. We converted that into Clean, Green and Smart Campus. And what is this Smart Campus all about? Smart Campus is you have all variety of sensors, which are very low cost. They are placed at different locations. And if we are able to monitor the data from out of that, we know where we are going wrong, and we have the course correction possible, whether it is in terms of energy usage. Can we save energy? That is what is electric grid power. Can we replace it by solar power? Can we replace it by wind power? Can we replace it by biopower, biogas? Can we replace by using all alternate ways of energy production and making use of that? Similarly, when it is a Clean Campus Award, naturally there is a lot of waste generated in the campus, whether it is paper waste or whether it is food waste in the canteen or in the mess, how that waste also is utilized and converted into useful products. In fact, many of our Minister Gadkari ji often says there is nothing like waste. Everything can be converted into a resource and can be spun into money. So how campuses can make use of all the waste generated? Even the waste paper, our notes and whatever is created in terms of file paper, can we again pulp that and then create an envelope out of that and sell it? I think these are the kind of things which are possible at the campus level. We have talked about energy, we have talked about waste management, water resource, that means water harvesting and utilization of water rightly. And also, why can't we also have some animals, some pond is there, we can have a fishery. If we have some place where you can have cows also. I have seen in South India, many in Tamil Nadu institutions, as well as in Haryana and Punjab and Rajasthan, there are institutions who have some 50 cows. All the students are given milk as well as ice cream made out of those cows actually. So I think this is both entrepreneurial, keeping the campus clean, safe and energy efficient. I think all of that is possible through Smart Clean Campus Award. We also have a Vishwakarma Award which we had instituted, where projects which are useful for our rural folk, whether it is removing the drudgery of the people who are living there, whether it is in terms of hygiene, whether it is in terms of healthcare, whether it is in terms of education, whether it is in terms of transportation, whether it is in terms of even internet connectivity, how that can be helped to them. All of these kind of problems, if they are solved, I think village life will become far, far superior. No one would like to certainly live in Delhi with such pollution levels which are crossing 500, 600, sometimes 900 level. And instead, if one can go to the villages where fresh, clean air is there, but if there is an employment opportunity, if he wants to learn something new, whether internet connectivity is there, I think these are the challenges which we need to address. And if you do that, our rural area will be absolutely beautiful. We will all be able to go reverse trend. You know, in Corona also it happened. Because of Corona, jobs were lost. So people started moving out from cities and went back to their villages. Now they can settle down in their villages itself. And cities also will become smarter and cleaner. And the villages are obviously cleaner. They will become smarter. I think this is the marriage of the village as well as the city life, which we can certainly arrange. And the whole country can become smart. Once it is smart, when I say the Atmanirbhar Bharat is a natural corollary. The Prime Minister started with Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, toilets in every school, village, everywhere. From there, he moved on to calling Make in India, Startup India, Skill India, and now this Atmanirbhar Bharat. So whether it is in toy industry, which we have started, or any industry, so that confidence building is important, that I can also do it, we can also do it. And therefore, best practices to be shared amongst the institutions is important. If something is done in Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education there, that should be known to AICT, through AICT to all the colleges, not just in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, but the whole of the country. So how can we reach out like this? I think that is where inspiration comes from. And your program, which is drawn from 12th January to the 23rd January, up to the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose birthday, is a very, very important thing, because two national great leaders, one who fought for independence with the spirit of the same what Swamiji had narrated, has come. But I would like to give you an incidence of Swamiji's sojourn from Japan to Canada and USA in ship prior to going to 1893's Chicago address. On the ship, there was Jamshedji Nauroji Tata, J.N. Tata. And that time the travel used to be for 6 months. So a lot of talk, discussions that happened during that period. So he said, you are doing, why are you going there? He said, I want to get a new steel industry, and for that I'm finding out technology that is there in the West. So I have gone there. He said, okay, that you do it, but more important than your industry, you must start an educational institution where research will happen, where entrepreneurial abilities will come, new products will get developed. And with that inspiration, Tata started what is known as today's Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. One of the topmost institutions of the country. Is the Ashirwad of our Swamiji is there in that. Without him, this would not have started. J.N. Tata would not have been inspired. And therefore, there is a lot of connect between spiritualism, the ethics and values on one side. All of these are embedded in the new national education policy. So my appeal to all the teachers and students who are listening, this policy is having sweeping changes, transformational agenda is there in this. If we implement it in right spirit, today or yesterday itself, I was talking to some of the people who were associated with the implementation plan. I used 3 words which are significant. I would like to reiterate today. I said the policy itself came after 34 long years. 1886 was the last policy. It took long time to come to, because 1886 to nearly 1890s, 1986 to 1990s, there was a small bit of a change. And from 2000 onwards, complete transformation has happened in terms of the knowledge, whether it is AI, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, robotics, 3D printing. Some of these technologies were never imagined in the last century. They are all there in this century. So, and therefore, teaching of all of this has become completely important for educational system, both for creation of employment and for employability. While this is all going on, which we have been witnessing day in and day out, policy had not changed, and we were still in the a British era of Macaulay education where clerk producing system is continuing. And that is where the new policy was necessary. Dr. Kasturi Rangan, very well-known, renowned scientist, and his team has given us this very important policy. So this policy has created an environment of happiness. That is Ananda, Ananda everywhere. You know, we have got full Anand. But when ministry started in right earnest, Prime Minister himself has spoken at least 3-4 times on this policy. And the implementation strategy has started working very sincerely. A lot of things have started moving on. We have gone to Paramananda. So आनंद से परमानंद में हम चले गए हैं और जब actual implementation हो जाएगा और इसके benefits, fruits of this are visible, available to the entire mankind, our citizens, that will be our Satchit Ananda Sthiti. Satchit Ananda Sthiti will come to us from Ananda to Paramananda to Satchit Ananda. With these few words, I conclude here. But if there are any questions and some comments, I would like to answer to some of them.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Dr. Vivek ji, please go ahead.
Yes, I was not able to unmute again. Thank you, Professor Sahasrabuddhe ji. It is such an inspiration, and we all feel that not many times we saw senior leadership taking up action-oriented plans at so many levels. It's a true inspiration from not just smart city, smart village as well, taking or creating confidence in the students. As you told, entrepreneurship ka kida, that has to be there. And I think we all have a role to play in that. Then from that, how Swamiji's guidance and role is there in the way he narrated or the way he guided the leadership then in IISc and many other such small endeavors. His Atman is there, his desire is visible, and probably that guidance will help us to move ahead with more with more affirmation on this and with a bigger sankalp on this. Thank you so much for your inspiring words, sir. I think we can have questions at the end once we will complete the schedule as per the schedule, and then we can have the questions. So I request the distinguished delegates to keep the questions in the chat box. The team can enable the chat box and so that people can write.
One question, probably Vivek ji, not question, but one more minute of his intervention will be of great help. What is that the principals here can do in order to make the students take up entrepreneurship while the student is under the umbrella of the institution? If you can say a couple of words on that, it will be a great help, sir.
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful question. Our national policy, which AICT announced, as I said, in 2016 itself, Prime Minister spoke about Startup India in the same year, and it was announced on January 16, and by November 16, AICT policy was in place. So what we said is students should have an opportunity to have electives in the institution where they learn is one part which I have already stated. But more importantly, if there is a student or a group of students who are willing to take chance and would like to experiment some of their novel ideas, like faculty are given sabbatical leave, why can't you give sabbatical leave for students? And this has become a reality in the new national education policy, because now there are multiple exit, multiple entry allowed. Otherwise, if you look at our statutes of all universities, a 4-year degree program has to be completed in 6 years. A 3-year degree program has to be completed in 5 years. And by chance, because of some reason, it may be an unfortunate, fateful thing that someone in the family passed away, income reduced, and therefore student leaves the education, he cannot re-enter. And if he has to re-enter, he has to again start from the scratch, from the first year. Because you have completed that 5 years or minimum or maximum, whatever that period of 6 years was there. Now you are not able to join back at the same level. You have to start from the scratch, from the first year. Oh, I remember that Saap Sidi Ka Khel. You know, you climb, and then when Saap is there, the snake is there, that from the, you slip back and You come to the lower house, and again you start climbing. You know, ये हमारा unfortunately education system में ऐसा था. So this policy is already allowing. So why can't our leaders in the educational institution, principals, vice chancellors, can be little liberal? And if some student says that I have this idea and I would like to experiment, who knows if that is successful? He may not complete your degree. He doesn't require a degree. Like creating Apple, Google, and Microsoft's, none of them were graduates. So our students also may become something similar to that possibly. So why can't we allow that? And if he is failing, fine, doesn't matter. Come back after 1 year and complete your degree. But the experiment which he has done in that 1 year, that failure also is a great lesson. And probably that guy will do better in life than any other persons who score high marks. That's why I stopped you from telling my introduction, because you will say gold medalist, and gold medalist does not have any knowledge of the hands-on, and you'll have to learn it from a mechanic or somewhere. You know, that is where I think what is important is let them experiment, let them struggle, let them fail early, fail and start early, and then you learn from out of that and take off. I think that spirit our principals, vice chancellors must adopt. And if some student comes with some out of the box idea, don't snub him and say that पहले पढ़ाई करो, तुम्हारा degree होने के बाद ये सोचो. This is the standard statement most of our faculty, HODs and deans speak about. And if you stop from that and encourage a little bit, a lot of things will happen. And this is my first-hand experience. You be a good listener. In College of Engineering, Pune, a first-year civil engineering student came after the vacation and said that they want to develop a nano satellite to be launched by ISRO. Then first-year civil engineering, not electronics, not mechanical, not computer. I said, क्या कर रहे हो ये भाई? ये हो सकता है क्या? तो पहले पढ़ाई करो. ये हो सकता था ना? So I gave him idea that you collect 15 people from different disciplines, not only your first-year guys, second, third-year guys. Build a team and let us see. We will find some funding and we will go ahead. And I will tell you, without support or help from any faculty anywhere, just by looking at internet, talking to different people, they developed a satellite which was launched by ISRO. So this talent exists amongst our students. How many of us are ready to support this kind of an initiative? I think that is what is necessary. Professor Prasanna Kumarji, I want that all faculty members should give ears to students, listen to their ideas. And some of them are not implementable. Doesn't matter. Let them experiment and fail. How many of us during our parenthood, you know, all of us are parents. Our child, you tell that candle is, you know, having a flame which will burn your finger. Your child will never listen to you. In front of you, because you will otherwise beat, it will keep quiet. When you are out, it will go and touch and find out that it actually has a fire there and it will burn your finger. Next time it will not go, but it would have experimented. That experiential learning is important. Allow that to happen.
I think, sir, it's a great learning for us, taking away the stigma of failure, giving the students to the freedom to experiment. And there is one big teacher called experience, and experiential learning must be allowed. Thank you so much, sir, for such enlightening inputs.
So we'll keep coming back to you for guidance. Thank you so much, sir.
I am there till this program is over, because I also want to listen to Dr. Uma Maheshwar Garu, and then if there are any more things also, we will come back.
I just like to confirm, I think Dr. Buddha Chandrasekhar ji has joined.
Yes, sir.
Team,
Yes,
can
sir.
you please confirm? He has joined?
Yes, sir. Joined.
Joined?
So,
he's there. He's at the bottom. I didn't see him.
So a warm welcome, Dr. Buddha Chandrasekhar ji. I am Dr. Vivek Modi. I welcome you to this event. I would just like to briefly introduce Dr. Chandrasekhar ji. He is the Chief Coordinator Officer of AICTE. After completing his graduation, he he started his own professional journey as a software developer. Then also became a person who had some startups experience with Silicon Valley. And after that, he has also been a CEO and has done many kind of works. Again, 1 minute is not enough for me to say his all illustrious work. After his appointment as a Chief Coordinator Officer with AICTE, with his instrument. He is instrumental in implementing in so many initiatives, so many programs. For example, like when COVID struck, for all the students, they rolled out a platform in record 1 day. And this platform had so many kind of services for students. For example, students could seek accommodation online, food online, classes online, attendance, examinations, scholarships, health, transport, you name it, including the harassment cell. And more than 6,500 colleges have already come forward with this. So this, with of course, with the leadership of Dr. Sahasrabuddhe ji, we have a very eminent speaker and a presence of Dr. Chandrasekhar ji. Sir, very warm welcome to all to you, sir. We would love to hear you from here.
Thank you, Vivek ji. I think you put me on a spot because my boss is here on the call. So I will try my best to take things forward.
Buddhaji, I listen to you more than what I speak to you.
Sir, I think I changed. I did some couple of changes in my presentation, sir. So now I changed my perspective after listening to my chairman, sir, so many times because, I'm learning. I'm younger than him and, learning a lot from my chairman, sir. So I see now the India became a land of opportunities. I think, this is what the India is as of now. I mean, we need to thank to COVID pandemic also because every country in the world started looking towards our country as a production house as well as a 1.4 billion users. So this customer base with a amazing thing called democracy, which they don't find in countries like China. So now they are taking this advantage and started investing in our country and started producing so many products. So in order to do that, first we need to employ our students, we need to prepare them, right? So we have taken a couple of initiatives and I'm going to cover internship, employability, innovation, and entrepreneurship side. And one of the thing is, as you know, India is a youthful nation with highly skilled workers. I mean, we produce millions of workers. If you go to any country in the world, you will find a professional and they are, Indians. And if you see any vice presidents or CTOs or CEOs of most biggest companies, they are Indians. And the kind of adaptation of technology is really amazing. I mean, if you see in a couple of villages in America, they are much, they are not such advanced like in India. And now we are adopted 3G. Now we adopted 4G VoLTE. I mean, with the help of 4G VoLTE, we are almost watching the videos and transferring the knowledge from one place to another place with high quality content without any buffering. What it really means is we have that kind of adaptation in our mind. And now we are even ready to adopt 5G technologies. And after 5G technologies, I'm sure India will become a superpower because we have that capability of doing a think tank and we have capability of doing jugaad. I think this kind of a combination is very rare in the other countries and which we have. And another very important key ingredient for success in 21st century is trust. The entire globe, every country and every industry, they are looking towards us and we are a trustworthy human beings in the globe. So the investments are pouring into our country. In last 6 years, we have received more than 310 billion US dollars as inflows. It means huge investments are happening. So most of the companies already establishing their bases and they have started producing and they started producing recently. And during the COVID pandemic, we have received more than $74 billion. I mean, huge investment, which if you compare with the previous sessions, which is 20% more than what we received. What it really means is we are moving from a knowledge-based society to a superpower society. That's where we are moving towards. And as you already know, we have the third highest number of internet users with a consumer base of 1.4 billion. And our daily density is 92.84%. And India's youth is the world's largest youth-based country with 64% is between 15 to 34 years. And this demography is going to meant a lot of benefit to our country. And growth in technology is like India, the whole India became a digital hub. Recently, I visited one of the small remote village in Andhra Pradesh for one of the marriage. And trust me, the way the internet is working there, like in a super fast mode. And I have attended an online session and I have shared my screen from the one of the smallest remote area in Andhra Pradesh, and I'm able to successfully finish my presentation. Then I realized the kind of a technological upgradation, happening in our country is going to become a digital hub for the entire world. So the entire digital talent is also residing in our country, and that the kind of a technological growth is really taking us forward. And the consumer story, if you see, we have more than 129 million urban mass consumers. And I'm sure after COVID pandemic, it may reach somewhere around 200 million, which is a huge number. And 400 billion is what we invested in our infrastructure market. So with respect to roads, or with respect to national highways, with respect to port upgradation, etc. So what it really means is it is generating so many employment opportunities and opening up opportunities for our entrepreneurs as well as researchers. And along with that, there is a new thing called food. Because what is happening is previously the world used to call an oil-based society, right? The entire globe. So now slowly as the entire world is moving towards renewable energy and solar energy, so now the food is occupied, after the technology. So in India, in last 6 years, we have created more than 42 mega food parks and 228 cold chain facilities and 100 food labs. What it really means is we are going to not only preserve the food, and we can have more economy from the food point of view. So that is another ingredient, and the kind of initiatives we have taken on the Make in India process. And we have received investments on auto components, automobiles, aviation, biotechnology, chemicals, food processing, IT, BPM, leather, medium, railways, roads, highways, renewable energy. I mean, various sectors. So these all sectors are getting, pushed up in a very, in a rapid phase, which is going to result more than 10 crore direct and 40 crore indirect opportunities by 2024. So the real challenge is now the opportunities are ready, and the opportunities are ready for not only for our students, the opportunities are ready for our entrepreneurs and for researchers. And recently, there's another amazing thing happened is with help of this Make in India process, the France offered to move their entire assembly line of their Panther choppers, Rafale jet fighters, the twin engine light combat aircrafts, and advanced medium combat aircraft. So what it really means is that not only within India, entire globe is started believing a Make in India and Made in India process. So this is going to, because of this kind of a technological upgradation, so this is helping us on that side. And India is launching the world biggest coronavirus vaccination program. I mean, see from the minute we started in 1962, the industrialization 2.0, India as well as China both started at the same time, but China moved forward with help of industrial 2.0 and 3.0. But now it's industry 4.0 is coming up, and India is the one which picked up the thing. And now we are taking things forward. And amazingly, 19 nations reached out to us for Make in India COVID vaccine. So what it really means is the entire world is recognizing India as a superpower now. I think now we need to take things forward, but at the same time, we need to make sure our employability issue will get resolved. And we not only produce the job seekers, we will produce the job givers. So that's where, I'm going to move towards. So there is lots of investments are happening from the government point of view. If you see the critical infrastructure sectors like banking services, financial, food, energy sectors, energy grids, we are interconnecting all energy grids, data and cloud side, space, educational side, transportation, communication. There are 6,835 projects are listed, and in Government of India invested more than 111 lakh crore on national critical infrastructure. And recently, if you see, we spent 40,000 crore rupees on the upgradation of Paradip Port. What it really means is, the kind of a port base, the number one infrastructure from a port point of view is China. So now we are coming up with the upgradation of a ports. so that we can have a better supply chain management as well as logistics. So we are investing a lot of money. What it means is lots of opportunities basically created by the government itself. And in the recent sessions, there are more than 1,000 foreign manufacturing firms. They started, their firms moved towards India. They said bye-bye China, and they come up to India. And one of the biggest organizations is setting up in Bengaluru. They are putting an iPhone plant. I mean, the entire end-to-end development of iPhone phones. So imagine the kind of a market and the kind of employment opportunities, the kind of a research opportunities, the kind of entrepreneurial opportunities, the kind of a logistical based opportunities, supply chain based opportunities, and the indirect based opportunities going to create. I mean, India is becoming a global hub for producing all kind of electronic based devices. Because now we are pretty good in IoT, on IT, BPO, KPO side. So now we are slowly moving towards the IoT side, creating digital twins, creating, using artificial intelligence, business intelligence, and creating lots of cyber security based experts, etc., which I will explain in further. So the developing countries like USA, Japan, France, Germany, Singapore, all these countries are moving towards us, and they are investing in our country for a better return of investment, because one side we have resources, the other side our government provided the best of the best infrastructure for them. And it's a democratic country. That's a beautiful thing, what we have, which others don't have. And the Industry 4.0 is going to create more than 9 crore job opportunities in next 5 to 10 years time. And in the augmented reality space, big data space, cloud computing, on the predictive analytics, cyber security side. I mean, it's a huge opportunity for Indians, because Indians has that jugaad of understanding both, and we are pretty good in mathematics. So till now, what was happening is, if you see from the banking point of view, if you take an example, we have more than 5 crore ATMs in India. But most of the ATM physical devices was manufactured in China or in Taiwan or other countries. So now we are having those manufacturing hubs in India itself. So with the help of this Industry 4.0 technologies, we are not only towards the artificial intelligence side, we are even interacting and creating those IoT related devices, and started doing both production at the same time. So this is one of the mass generation opportunity for India to move forward. And lots of automotive opportunities. It's more than 1.5 crore opportunities. As you know, internet vehicles are completely taken over the automotive industry. Because in order to create one automobile, example car, if you take, there are a lot of smaller components which you need to create. And all these components needs to be get interconnected with Internet of Vehicles technology. And they are using the advanced technologies like V2V and V2I. And the actual real engine may be getting built in Germany or somewhere, but we have the digital twin of the same copy, and the lots of firms started working on those digital twins, and they started doing lots of creating the sensors and using a big data analytics, and implementing the one of the best advanced, most advanced electrification in India. So all these kind of opportunities are in our. In the financial service, as you all know that, as India is a financial basis services, I will just skip this faster mode. So we are more moving towards a mobile based as well as RegTech called, and blockchain based. And this is biotech is another opportunity we are getting on the synthetic biology, metabolic engineering, nanomedicine. Huge opportunity. If you see one of the medical park which we established in Visakhapatnam, it used to be almost empty, few years back I have seen. But in last 4 years I have observed it's very difficult to. What it really means is we are the one who is producing the medical components, the like syringes, or the one which we are using it for to prevent corona. All these kind of things are getting produced in our country in a mass way. It is resulting a mass employment in our country. And 3D bioprinting, gene editing, mixed reality, and lots of operations nowadays. What doctors are doing is they are doing a virtual operation, and then they are doing a real operation. So see the power of the technology and the way we as Indians using this technology forward. And tissue engineering, as you already know, as I already spoke about food technology. So now we are concentrating on food safety and delivery of food, and how we can reduce the food wastage. I mean, lots of expenditure happened in this, but trust me, in next few years, and because of this new agriculture policy, it's a win-win situation for the farmer, because he will get a better produce and he will get a better profits, and he can store his produce in cold storages as well as in food parks for very less price. So we are coming up with very advanced. So this is another opportunities for all entrepreneurs to create lots of solutions on top of it. And similarly for healthcare side, as you know, 3D imaging, Internet of Medical Things, it's really dominating the entire healthcare. And now if you see the most of the Indian healthcare chains, they are getting funds from various countries because they strongly believe they have their customer base here in India. At the same time, they can produce the internet medical things here for a cheaper price and they can sell it to the entire globe. And India became kind of a marketing hub also for them. And this is another opportunity from the energy side. We have more than 30 lakh job opportunities in energy sector. If you see, we already have a smart meters implemented in place. Microgrid is getting connected. But the beauty is the renewable energy side. We became a world's second most producible renewable energy in the world. But Chinese is number one. As you know, no one remembers number two. I think we want to make sure we are moving towards number one. IITs, and they all are working very hard on this. And they're coming with lots of technological innovations where we ourselves towards a number one in this particular area. Storage of renewable energy is also increased. And agri as well as telecommunication side, with the help of these new technologies like the next gen mobile networking called 5G and network functions virtualization, with help of these two M2M technologies, we are going to rule this world, in the next, coming years. So along with these opportunities, what government did, there's a fundamental difference between the ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's government and our current Honorable Prime Minister Modi's government. We are giving incentive based on the production linked incentive. The more you produce, the more incentive you receive. What it really means is we are encouraging them to create more opportunities for our students, for our entrepreneurs, etc. And at the same time, the MSME side, if you see, we have given a relaxation to all the new startups and entrepreneurs so that they can do a tendering process without paying the security deposit. Because as you know, in the government, you need to pay a security deposit that is discouraging our entrepreneurs and startups. So we have given away that option and we have relaxed that option. So now any company, any entrepreneur or any serial startup or a startup, they can submit government tenders without paying even 1 rupee. And so what it really means is we are going to have 50 crore plus opportunities by 2025. But is our students ready? Because it's not only about getting an opportunity. It is are they workplace ready? Are they ready for innovation? So we have identified a couple of technologies, job roles, skills. We have identified, and we started giving training on this particular skills. And how we have transforming, because now I talked about the kind of requirements we are receiving, not only in India, in the entire world. We have understood what industry wants. And with help of these advanced technologies, we are fine-tuning all our educational policies to skill and upskill the students for their better future. This is what the entire education policy is all about. I mean, you don't need to read those 600 pages. So basically, this beauty of the national education policy, it's agile in nature. So it has that kind of a flexibility. It takes the input and it adopts, and with help of these advanced technologies, we are fine-tuning, we are ready to fine-tune, we will learn from you, and we will give the best, only the best to our students as well as to the institute. So with help of this new education policy, as sir has already covered most of the new education policy things. So I'm just skipping some of the slides here. So the thing is, what's happening in our country is, because of the old education policy, the students as well as entrepreneurs, everyone become isolated in nature. They are working in isolation way. So now with help of a new education policy, they understand, they work together as a team, as a collaboration. And the learning is not like a rote methodology. We are going to have a play-based, discovery-based learning. And developing the curiosity is very, very important, because I ask 1,000 questions to my chairman, sir, because, unless until I understand fully, I will keep on asking, because developing the curiosity, asking, logically thinking and solving that problem in a logical way, and trying to be more creative on the other side. So these are the amazing elements which we have put in, and I see one of the best thing happened after our independence of our country, because this is kind of a path-breaking initiative which we have taken in the name of new education policy. This is going to change not only our country, this is going to create one of the best country, for the entire globe. So I'm just moving towards a higher education due to lack of time. So as I mentioned earlier, we are not only creating millions of job seekers now, we want to create a job creator. So that is where the entrepreneurs, innovation, research comes into picture. So the new education policy has all those ingredients in place, which I will explain in further slides. So we are using, holistic multidisciplinary education, which sir has already explained, and multiple entry, multiple exit. All these are giving a flexibility of freedom of taking a decision. That's a beauty of our country. So we are giving that freedom. And on the professional education side, we are concentrating on recent graduates and trying to train them. And we are targeting more than 40 crore 40 crores such students, faculty, as well as recent graduates to get upgradation of their skills. And promoting multilingualism is another one of the major point in the national education policy side. And we are using an advanced technologies nowadays. If you see, the textbooks got transformed towards a video and interactive audio as well as PDF modes. And we are using AR, VR technologies, 3D technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchain, data-driven, 34 DTH channels which we have started. So all are free. You can go to Google and you can search, example, advanced chemistry, MHRD, DTH channel. You will get that channel, and everything is free and high quality content. We have taken lots of such initiatives, for the students. And one of the initiative is for the internship side. Based on the Honorable Prime Minister's target, we have created an internship portal where we are providing more than 1 crore internship opportunities by 2025. So here we have identified all the stakeholders from the government side, from the corporate side, from the MSME side, from NGOs, startups, and research internships. And what happens is, if you wants to work for any organization, so this is a very well crafted, beautifully designed website which we have created. So the students can come here and they can apply for the internship opportunities. Either they can search on the top, or you have on a city based, you will see all the list, and you can click on your favorite city or nearby city, and you can apply for an internship opportunity. And this application loads the minute you do like this. You can even test it. It's called internship.act-india.org. And this was developed by the students just to make sure that, our students are the best students in the world. So this application, if you value this application with any venture capitalist, this is going to value up to $500 million US. So this kind of an amazing application which we have created, and this has more than 90,000 plus internship opportunities in place. And it loads, it loads super fast like this. As I'm sharing, it may taking a minute for you to see, but it loads information in a very much faster way. It basically loading more than 40 to 50,000 results in less than 7 to 8 seconds. So that's the way we have built this entire application. Let's quickly go back to my presentation. So there's another initiative called NEET, where we are bringing all the best of the best EdTech companies in one place, and we are enabling them for a socially and economically deployed section. So these are another portal called NEET, where we have initiated. And at the time of COVID pandemic, we have created one free resources for the digital content. So 43 best of the best EdTech companies offered their content for free of cost on this portal. And we have, I'm happy to share that more than 246 crore worth of content was distributed for free of cost to more than 13.9 lakh students. So this is again free. It's called free.act-india.org, where we have all those things in place. So research point of view, we are about to start a national research foundation, because as you see from the innovation and research side, we in the previous education policy, we never encouraged any student from that side. And the encouragement is very less. And if you see the intellectual property submissions are less than 2%, which is very, very less. So we want to increase that number. So the National Research Foundation basically helps you to get a funding for your research and getting a mentorship and creating a doctoral and postdoctoral fellowships here, and creating the not only on the verticals of science and technology, we want to go with the social sciences, arts, humanities, etc. And government, we are going to help the students from the national research point of view. And innovation is another thing, which is very, very crux, and you need to be a number one in all aspects, not only from producing an idea, you need to turn that idea into a product and do marketing and sales, and you will have a funneling system where you can generate money. You need to do a due diligence. So we have come up with a portal called Yukti. So on the Yukti, what we are doing is we are encouraging every student as well as the startups, the institutes, everyone can come together and they can submit their startup details here, and we will help them. If you come down and see the couple of opportunities we have here, which is already posted. So someone shared a initiative called contactless waste bin, and we are doing lots of initiatives. So all those innovation ideas was published here, and various sectors, if you see, from aviation to agriculture to clean tech to consumer goods, conventional energy, defense and sector, education, electronics, IoT, fashion, textiles. So we are ready to help every entrepreneur in India who is studying, who is in college, and we even encouraging the institute to be part of this initiative along with your students and faculty. So what it means is the institute, the faculty, as well as students, they all can come together, and we are ready to invest, and we are ready to connect you to the funders. We are ready to help you on the due diligence and various other processes we have. So this is the amazing portal which we have created. If you go to on the resources page, you will see all kind of resources we have and how we are going to help you here. I mean, there's a step-by-step process what we have created. So the pre-incubation and role of networking, how we are going to help you on the networking side, and hang out with other successful startup founders, and how you can create a best of the best design, because UX is the dominating nowadays. The more user interface you have, the more sellability you will get, and your application needs to be faster, at the same time mobile compatible. So we are ready to help you to connect to the experts in the society. At the same time, we are ready to help you on fine-tuning your business idea and connecting you to enable and do a intellectual property for your early stage innovations and startups, and understanding the angel as well as venture capitalism, because as most of the startups, they needs to go with the angel investment. And the process of entire due diligence on the angel investment is completely different than a venture capital funding, because the venture capital funding where they expect a 20x, but on an angel investor, they expect the outcome is completely different. And sometimes you may receive an angel investor who wants not only spend these financials, he wants to spend his time and energy and his expertise also. So we are here and ready to help all our entrepreneurs and startups, and student startups who can come to us, and we are ready to help them on all these processes, and obviously the legal and ethical steps, and on the funding side also, of course. So these are the steps, and very well built and very beautifully designed, very simple to use portal which we have created for our students. And the registration is also free, and it's very simple. If you go to yukti.mic.gov.in, so you will see, if you're a student, you register here, faculty can register here, staff, institute can register here. And what we encourage is, as we said, now we are in a new 21st century. See, the students are the best of the best, they have the best knowledge. But institute has an infrastructure. Why don't you become one of the partner in the enterprise and in the startup of the student idea, and facilitate them, and your faculty can guide them? See, someone is asking, how we can increase the entrepreneurial thoughts in our faculty. The best things are, if you ask me, try to identify the industry problems, speak with the industries, take that as a challenge, and start working with your students and build those solutions. And please come to us. We are here to help from an ideation point of view too. If you have any product which is ready to go, we are ready to help, and we will help in a way that you will get a win-win situation for you as well as for the government. Because what we strongly feel is, in India, we are going to get lots of unicorns in a very recent, in the next few years. So that's where we see the energy. Just give me 1 second. I have 2 more slides to show. So this is a national innovation which we already have gone through. So I'm just keeping on that side. So the entrepreneurship side, I'm really a bit worried, because the number of entrepreneurship, if you take in our country, this total is 5.8 crores. And this is only 5%, the lowest rate in the world. And while the business discontinuity rate is very high, it is 26.4%. And only 13% women entrepreneurs are there. So, sir, I request, sir, for every college, if you have any student, irrespective of their gender, please encourage them to do some kind of entrepreneurship activity. And the major problem in our society is fear of failure. I think, this is where we are encouraging. We are saying one simple word is, don't worry, if you fail, the world won't stop. It's an opportunity to learn how not to fail. So sometimes when I fail, I take it in a positive way and try to, motivate myself, so that the learning opportunity is already finished. So you already mitigated your risk. So success factor will increase, the ratio of success will increase, which will result that stagnant economy of our country will convert into a vibrant economy. And the poverty and inequality will get eradicated or get at least reduced. So we have identified few key interest areas, and as I already demonstrated about Yukti. So the final thought process is for every entrepreneur is, it's okay to fail. I mean, you don't feel that you are failing and you will get disconnected to the society. We are there to help you. If you fail in one process, we already have so many other entrepreneurs and startups ready. Maybe if you fit into that, we will add you as one of the team member, or maybe as a co-inventor. So don't worry, you please invent what all you want to do. If you want to start something, you start, irrespective whether you're in a first year or second year or final year of your college. And by saying that my name is Buddha Chandrasekhar, I'm a Chief Coordinating Officer. And my thought process always was to empower our students and faculty with help of the advanced technologies. So Andarki Namaskaram. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Really, you gave a very beautiful insights on the land of opportunities that we have in our nation, and rightly highlighting various technologies and the opportunities that we have in all the areas, and the way how students can be able to really utilize the opportunities that we are providing, and especially AST is offering. We are very glad to know all these insights from you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll get back to the question and answer session at the end of the session. We have Dr. Uma Maheshwara sir also. I request Hemalata ma'am, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Namaskaram everybody. Now I request Shaini ji of Jyoti Vidyapeeth to give her presentation. Actually, they have started the Swachhata, social entrepreneurship and Swachhata cell, and they want to present a video showing that. Shaini ji, are you there?
Yes, I'm playing the video, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And I'm Shaini from MGNCRE. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Shaini ji. And I would like to acknowledge Pankaj Garg. Sir, thank you for being present in the program. Thank you very much, sir. And I would like to introduce a little bit about our Chairman Samskriti Foundation, Shri Dr. Chamarthi Uma Maheshwar Rao Garu. I just want you to just, be prepared for his speech. Before that, I would like to say very few words about Uma Maheshwar Rao sir. And as you all know, he is a retired IAS officer and he served as Principal Secretary to the Chief Minister of Combined State of Andhra Pradesh till 2008. And he's currently serving on the Pay Revision Commission of the government of the state of Telangana. And also he's been associated with various educational projects and his contributions are great. He has been serving through Vidya Bharati and also he's been mentoring and guiding all of the members of Samskriti Foundation and also Samskriti Adhyayana Kendra. Sir, a warm welcome to you in spite of the time difference. I'm very happy that you've joined and I would request you to please say a few words on this occasion, sir.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to be amongst you. I'm particularly happy to see Professor Anil Sahasrabuddheji. I have not met him. I heard about him, but I'm able to see thanks to this virtual medium. And also Buddha Chandrasekharji, whose presentation I also have seen not only now, earlier in the connection with the National Education Policy, and my good friend Prasanna Kumarji, and various other faculty members, principals, correspondents of various colleges across the country. So it's early morning to me in USA. I came here to be with my children for some time, but thanks to COVID, I got stuck. I'm waiting for the right opportunity to return very soon to the country, but trying to do a little bit of my job here through these virtual media, wherever friends called on me to be associated with this activity. Thank you, Prasannaji. Thank you, other coordinators, for giving me this opportunity. It's a great thing to greet all of you on this National Youth Day, Swami Vivekananda's birthdays. Sahasrabuddheji has pointed out several of the aspects of Swamiji. Now, Swamiji is such a great person. We are yet to write the correct history of this country to see the contribution of Swamiji on the independence struggle. He actually charged the independence movement. The people who were in the independence derived inspiration from him. Just to quote a few, Roma Rolla, who wrote a book on Swami Vivekananda, was a Nobel Prize winner from France, says he was the personification of harmony of all human energy. It's a great statement. Gandhiji says, having gone through extensively the literature, the writings of Swamiji, Gandhiji says that his love for this country has gone up by 1,000 times. And finally, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddheji quoted Subhash Chandra Boseji. Subhash Chandra Boseji says, Swami Vivekananda is the modern India creator. He created the modern India, if I'm not here. If you are recalling Swamiji today, his currency, his ideas, his spirit, his encouragement are relevant today, are more relevant today than what they were on the day. Such personalities have come into the country's mainstream life in India for centuries together. Whenever we were in some sort of a sleep mode, as you see in the computer, it goes into a pause mode. When the country has gone into a pause mode, people like Swamiji have come and woken up, stirred up to take our responsibilities. Swamiji was one such thing. We in Samskriti Adhyayana Kendra have been trying to do a little bit. Vivek Modi said in the beginning, be good and do good. To cultivate this habit among the children, among the students, and among everybody in the country, to create an environment of good, that to live in this country itself is good. To live in this country itself is great. Now that's the type of environment that we need to create. That's what we know, some sort of awareness building campaign is being taken up by the Sanskriti Adhyayana Kendra, Sanskriti Foundation. And Sanskriti Adhyayana Kendra, a cell of Sanskriti Foundation, is working on rediscovering ourselves, the knowledge systems of this country in various areas of our faculties, like, engineering, architecture, science, Ayurveda, so many fields where our contributions are there to rediscover ourselves as to what we should be doing using that knowledge base. Now, that is what Sanskriti Adhyayana Kendra is concentrating on this activity in the last few months. It has started a cell. Sanskriti Foundation itself is working for more than 10 years, creating this type of awareness. Now, coming back to the basic topic of today's meeting across the country, social entrepreneurship. Lot of ideas have been given by Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe and also Chandrasekhar ji on the entrepreneurship. I am lucky I have one common feature with the Sahasra Chandrabuddhe. I am also a mechanical engineer from NIT Warangal. Did my BE there and also MTech from there, mechanical engineering, and worked for some time in BHEL, Hyderabad, before moving to civil services. Now, what I feel is that the linking of our colleges with the rural area. Now, that link is what will provide for us the lot of opportunities in social entrepreneurship. I'll give you one simple example. We are currently facing the issue of farmers' movement in Punjab and other places. We have heard for some time the suicides in farming areas. A lot of efforts are being made by country over the century, over the decades, as to how to improve agriculture. But just imagine, when you are talking of a social entrepreneurship, how a farmer himself is a social entrepreneur. How, as somebody said earlier, failure is a lesson. How he is not stopping cultivating, though there is a failure of crop. If failure of crop should actually result in stopping agriculture, producing goods, what would happen to this country? So failure should not be a point of stopping our effort. From failure, we are not stopping. We are continuing the work. Farmer is continuing the work in spite of the problems. Now, consider him as one of the best social entrepreneurs in the country, the small entrepreneur, the small farmer. Now, invite these farmers to your college. Ask them to talk about their profession in their language. So you have a catchment area of some 30-40 villages. Pick up some of these big farmers who are very progressive farmers, who are entrepreneurial enough, who are introducing new knowledge into the system of working, or new fertilizers, new pesticides, new methodology of cultivation. They are experimenting themselves there. There is a great experimentation process that is going on in the field. Bring that to our colleges first. Is the entrepreneur available to us? So many entrepreneurs are available to us. Ask them to talk. Then that's way you are enhancing their prestige of taking up agriculture. Well, today what is happening? Students who are getting educated, they are feeling a bit shy of going back to the villages to take up agriculture. Agriculture farming, how will that happen? In one of the presentations that was made in Davos some time back, it was shown that in about 10 commodities, out of the absolute production of 10 commodities, country stands in 1 to 4 in terms of ranking out of 10 agriculture products. But in terms of productivity, not even one product is coming as number 1 in terms of productivity. Like, for instance, take milk. We are the biggest milk producers in the world. But in terms of productivity, again, we are nowhere near the international standards. Now, this gap in productivity and the actual production, if converted into monetary terms, that itself can be trillions, not billions, trillions. Now, that's the potential available for the social entrepreneurs. How do we improve the productivity of whatever activities that we are doing? Improving the productivity of the small farmer, improving the productivity of the small artisan. Now, I am seeing here, I'll give you 2 small examples how an individual as an entrepreneur is doing. My son has called for putting up a shelf in his house. One individual has come there, a technician. He has taken the measurements. He prepared the design of what it should be sitting in the house. He said it will take for me to collect the material and prepare the total mold about 3 months' time. He took up the assignment, completed the thing 3 months time, single-handed. He drove with his material in his car, came back, fixed up all the materials, did the whole job by himself. One single person doing the whole job. And he has the necessary tools with him. I was amazed to see this job is being done by about 10 people, but still not at the same level of quality. Now, these are the small things that the colleges will have to understand by sending their students, asking them to, encouraging them to see the gap in terms of productivity and what they are doing. That gap is what gives excellent, outstanding opportunities, any number of opportunity for us to improve the productivity. And that's what, that productivity is what we are calling as increase the productivity, increase output is what we are calling as Atmanirbhar also, improving their capacity to go ahead in their lives. They themselves will become entrepreneurs by this. Now, these small areas are areas that needs to be done. There is a lot more, we have a lot more time already. We have crossed the time. I thank the opportunity given to me to join in this session. And once again, I bow my great, Anil Sahasrabuddhe ji made me feel humble by showing that he will sit through to listen to me. I was very sort of, happy to listen to these words. And thank you, sir. Thank you very much for joining in this session and also providing the guidance to all the teachers. And the Sanskriti Foundation will continue to do its job of creating awareness and also helping the government and preparing inputs to the government to see that decisions are based on our cultural ethos are the country's strengths, native strengths. Now that is what we are trying to do, because a lot of work has not been done in this area. We are in the very nascent stage. We need support from eminent personalities like you to carry forward this idea in the future to come. We are at the very, very, very beginnings of this idea propagation. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you very much, sir. Really, thank you so much for your valuable insights and good words on this occasion. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Hemlata ma'am, over to you.
Thank you very much, Uma Maheshwar Rao garu, for your valuable insights. Now I request Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumar ji to permit me to say the vote of thanks. Sir, are we done now? Can we proceed to vote of thanks? I'm awaiting the permission of Prasanna Kumar sir.
Please
Can
go
I give?
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Namaskaram to the elite group of participants. Towards the end of this scintillating session, I'd like to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Sanskriti Foundation. And I would like to thank Dr. Anil Sahasrabuddhe ji for accepting and acting as chief guest to this session. And also we thank him for sharing his wisdom regarding the role of teachers, the significance of imparting primary education in mother tongue, and also the value of entrepreneurship. Also, sir, your insights towards waste management are very helpful. And also you have reminded us about the ideals and principles of Swami Vivekananda ji. We thank you one more time, sir. And I would like to thank Dr. Buddha Chandrasekhar ji for delivering keynote speech. His presentation about role of youngsters in entrepreneurship and how our country is the land of opportunities now, and also about how India is marching forward in every field. Sir, thank you very much for your presentation and also for your presence today. And also I would like to express gratitude to Dr. Chamakti Uma Maheshwar Rao ji for his participation in this session of Viveka Subhashitam. Sir, thank you for your retrospection and also for throwing light on the greatness of Swami Vivekananda and how his teachings have been guiding all of us, and also the significance of entrepreneurship. Thank you very much, sir. Our heartfelt thanks to Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumar ji for putting in great efforts during planning, conducting of this session. And thank you for your wonderful effort, sir. Thank you very much. I thank all the eminent people who have participated in this program, academicians, delegates of AICTE and other organizations, and also students who have been watching this program on YouTube, and also all the resources of MG-NCRE, all the members of Samskriti Foundation. Thanks to everyone who has been instrumental in making the program a success. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Namaskaram. Now I would request Nataraj ji to recite the Shanti Mantra.
Namaste to all of you. I will recite the Shanti Mantra now, and all of you can join while being at your places. Om Sarve Bhavantu
Sukhina
Sarve Santu
Niramaya
Sarve
Bhadrani
Bhadrani
Pashantu
Kaschit Om
Shanti
Shanti Shanti. Dhanyawad.
Namaste.
On behalf of MG-NCRE also, we extend our sincere gratitude to all the dignitaries who joined here today for this program and making this a grand success. Once again, I extend my sincere gratitude to Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe ji of AICTE and Chandrasekhar sir, and also we have Uma Maheshwara sir. We extend our sincere thanks to all of you, sir. And I extend my gratitude to our chairman, Dr. W.G. Prasanna Kumar sir, for facilitating this program in a great way. Thank you so much, sir, for extending this opportunity to everyone throughout the country. Thank you so much, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Prasanna sir, I have unmuted you, sir.
Sir, thank you so much, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe ji. Bhai Sahab, thank you so much for your time, your
Namaskar.
presence.
Namaskar.
It was a great blessing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. सबको धन्यवाद जो लोग उपस्थित हैं यहाँ पर सब प्रिंसिपल्स को हम आपके साथ रहेंगे. We will be in connect with you. Thank you very much.